Everyone, it's Mr. Jonathan and you're watching virtually BGCMC. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draw Baby Groot, and we're going to be focusing on a couple different things. One is the pose. It's going to be kind of a different pose than what we usually draw. And the other thing is line weight or line quality. I'll get into that a little bit more as we draw, but for now, grab your paper, pencil, and eraser, and let's draw. This is actually going to be the second Baby Groot drawing that we have in our videos. And we're going to start off with a circle here. But the pose is actually a lot different from the last time we drew him. And we're going to start off with the circle. What you want to make sure of, you don't have to get the circle perfect at all, because we're going to end up changing the shape of it, and some of it's going to be getting covered up even. But what you do want to make sure of is that the top of the circle here is, you have plenty of room between the top of the circle and the top of your page. That's because we're going to be adding a few shapes above here. So I got my circle in place. This pose, it might look a little complicated, but I'm going to break it down as we go along just to make it nice and simple, easy to understand and to draw. So after the circle, I'm going to draw the side of the body here going down. Might make it a little bit wider actually. Okay. Just like that. And to get the arms, what we want to do is we're going to start on the inside here, and we're going to cut into the circle a little bit with this line. You see how a little bit's being covered up. Okay. We're going to get this line going that way. And then we want to do the same thing here. You could leave a little bit of a gap here, but this part is going to go up this way. So this is showing the collarbone going into the arm here. And then if you notice on this side, the finished version, it goes into the elbow, and the arms are being bent behind his head. So one little trick to get this look in the arms is when you draw the arms, as you go down and create the bend in the elbow, if you line up the bend of the elbow with this line here, say if this line were to go all the way through, all the way out, then it should hit right where the elbow is bending, okay? So just like that, okay? And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side here. A little tip with these arms is you don't have to make them go too high up on the head here or too low on the body. Actually, the first time I drew this, I made that mistake of making the arms a little bit too long, and it just didn't look right. So remember, Baby Groot, his limbs aren't very long unless he's like reaching and extending his branches, but normally his arms are a little bit short. Okay, you're gonna notice some of these lines I'm gonna make really bold and dark here. So one of those reasons I'm making these lines as such is because I really want the outline of the head and body, the silhouette of the figure, to pop out, especially since we're gonna be adding all these detailed textures. It's just gonna look a lot cleaner if we have his actual form outlined nice and bold here. So anyways, the side of the body is going to come down this way. I'm going to make mine a little bit longer, and I'm going to bring it down to a point here. Okay. So this is just helping me break the body into sections, right? We have his body here, arms, head, and then the legs. Just helping me keep everything organized here. That's why we're drawing all these shapes. This leg, it could be a little bit tricky, but what you want is the nice curve going down this way, and notice the angle. The knee is bent around here, but the angle of the rest of the leg is going more downwards. We've done this drawing in our live draw alongs. And one thing that some of the members were having a hard time with was this leg. And one thing I noticed is that some people put the bend in the leg too far to the side like this, which is fine. It's going to change the pose a little bit, but if you want the look of this one, make sure you get this angle going down this way. Okay. And then his feet are basically like stumps, so you don't have to draw any special shapes here. Just a little curve will do, and then we're going to come back up and around this way. Okay. I don't want to draw too dark right off the bat because I might look and see some adjustments that need to be made a little bit later on. So for now, I'm not going to make it as bold as these lines here. With this leg, you could actually do this leg a couple different ways. If you want this to be a standing pose, which it could be, and that's what I intended it to be at first, then he would have better balance if you had the foot more towards the center of the body. But if you want him to be lying down, which he can be lying down also, then you could just make the leg going straight down, or either way you want it. That part is really up to you. I'm gonna have the leg coming down this way, just like this drawing, so you can see how I do it. Actually, one trick that I use if you're having a hard time finding the middle of the body and where the foot should land here is if you draw the midline starting from the top. We usually draw the midline for the head anyways. If you draw it from the top going all the way down here, then you could have an idea of where to put the foot. So it's going to come in here this way, down on this side. And then the foot is going to come around here, just like the other foot. A little curve, just the stump of a foot. That's all you need to put in there. And yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to jump up here to the top of the head now and add these shapes. Really, you could make these shapes however you like and put however many you want to. I'm going to keep it simple and stick with 5 bumps here. Then going down to this side. Just like that. Okay. Once you get all these shapes in here, eventually you could erase this part of the circle because you don't really need it anymore. But I'm going to go ahead and dive into the sunglasses here. I'm starting with the bridge. And really what I'm doing with these sunglasses at first is just getting the basic shape in place, just like how we draw any other parts of our drawing. We start with the basic shape first. And then once that's in place, then we could start adding the details. Okay. So notice that these frames are going all the way to the edge of the head. We're going to loop around down this way. Now this is the shape that I want. For your drawing, you could make any kind of frames style that you like. I'm going to keep it simple with the classic sunglasses shape. Now from here, to add the details and to actually add the form of the sunglasses, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer here to the bridge. Okay. And then here I could draw dark. I'm gonna start making my lines nice and bold now, just because I'm sure that these lines I'm not gonna be erasing. Okay, and here at the end we'll add a little bump going out this way, and then darken this up here. Okay, so there's certain lines that we don't need anymore, like here and here. But because we're shading, we're going to be shading in these sunglasses. we're not going to need to erase these lines because they're going to get covered up by the shading, right? So it makes a little bit less work for us when it comes to the erasing. Okay, just cover it up with a little bit of shading. Okay, now we're going to add the same shape, but just a little smaller on the inside here. See that? Do the same thing here. Okay. Now the trick to get these shiny glares or highlights on the lenses is it's actually really easy. You just need to make these lines, and you don't even have to make them at this angle. Any kind of angle you want to draw them at, you could do that. So I'm going to stick to the way I did it here and here. So I'll do a thicker one here and then a thinner one on the side. Okay, this one's a little bit different. It's I'm going to do a really thick one, and then I'll just break it up with a line around there. I think that's good. Okay. And from here, you could just shade in. You could go all throughout. I'm not going to shade mine too dark though. There we go. Go in here too. All right, looking pretty good so far. Let me go ahead and make these lines nice and bold too. Okay. Actually, I won't go too bold right off the bat because I do want to show you all the difference of how these thin lines could really change the feel of the drawing, okay? What I will do for now is get rid of these lines that we don't need. Just like that. Don't really need this anymore either. Okay, so I'm gonna put the mouth in here. The mouth I'll make bold right now. Okay, and then from here, so we have all the things in place now, right? Now we just need to add the final details and refine it, the rest of the drawing. So what's gonna happen is, I'm gonna do all these wooden textures here. And this part is really up to you, how you wanna draw these, how many you wanna add, or how many you don't wanna add. This part is where you could really have some freedom and add your own creativity. So what I do advise though is just kind of mix it up, you know, make some long ones, make some small ones, have some variety. And I think that's just gonna make the drawing look a lot more interesting. Moving down here to the body, again, you could really just be creative with how you want to draw all these textures. But one thing I try to stick to is I'll try to find a pattern within each part of the body, right? So I'm working on the main body here. I broke it up into a couple sections. Then you can just add the texture how you like. There really is no right and wrong here. But what I'm gonna do, and what I encourage you to do as well, these lines, I'm gonna keep them all really sharp and thin, okay? Maybe like, I don't know, one more going this way. Maybe like that. Okay, and then the arms, I'm going to kind of follow the pose of the arm here. Something like that. They actually also kind of look like veins too, going throughout the body. And then here, actually, I don't want this line to go into this line, so let me curve this one over that way. There we go. You don't even have to go like all the way from one end to another. You could leave it open like that. do a few coming from the foot as well. Okay, so we have all these details in place, right? But because all these lines are so similar here, it might be kind of hard to read what's going on, right, for the viewer. So to make things a little bit more clear and to define the body shape and silhouette a little bit more, this is what I was talking about with the lines, using different kinds of lines to really highlight certain parts of the drawing. Okay, so I'm gonna make all these outlines here on the body just really bold, and you'll see how it starts to give a lot more clear definition to the picture or to the drawing. There we go. And just follow this leg all the way around. Okay, so now with all these bold outlines, it kind of looks almost like a completely different drawing. At least to me it does. And there we go. And then just, keep an eye out for any last things to clean up here. Just make it look nice and clean. There we go. And there you have it. That's Baby Groot. So thank you for joining us. Thanks for drawing along, and hope to catch you next time. Bye.